deeply touched by her ability to connect with the wisdom of the nature elders and the reverence that she holds for each and every one of them. And it's given me a deepening into my own reverence of something that I didn't have words for before. And I'm starting to speak a language because of it. And just the very first day we met, I said, you come to Nova Scotia and bring your gifts. And this is the fruition of that dream that I had when I met her. Thank you for coming. We're looking forward to you being here in 1 week now.
True enough. Thank you so much, Tree Child, and thank you for the invitation. I have lived in 8 different countries, and through my apprenticeship with Water, Rock, and Tree over the past 15 years, have worked in China for 2 years and been to the UN in Geneva and Mexico and many other countries and places, but I have yet really to set foot on the sacred land of the East Coast of Canada. So this will be the first opportunity that I've had to feel and be in and on and with the spirit of the land in Nova Scotia. So my name is Danielea Castell, and I am the founder of the Listening Field. I acknowledge that at the moment I am currently living and working on the traditional lands of the Snuneymuxw Nation on Vancouver Island, British Columbia. Today's topic, I wanted to touch in a little bit on who the nature elders are and why is it important that we consult with them. So I wanted to just share a little bit, a little piece of my own journey. So I was born a telepath, empath, incarnator. So I was born listening and feeling and conversing with who I now call nature elders. But I had extreme difficulty in the human world. My particular gifts made it difficult for me to be around human beings for very long. Although I did spend 15, 20 years as a facilitator supporting marginalized communities, but using creative means like physical theater and music and sound. But it was always about supporting these communities to have their own voice. So it's always empowering them to have their voice, to speak their truth, to share their dreams, to stand in their sovereignty. So it was actually many years later, and it wasn't until I turned 50, and unknown to myself, I'd been responding to a spiritual call that I'd heard. So I would hear a call, and I would all of a sudden discover that Southeast Asia was constantly in my field, and then I would just trust that something was calling me or someone, and I would book a flight and I would go, and then I would find out what that call was about. So I received one of those calls in 2008 to go to the sacred island of Haida. And I thought it was Mother Earth that called me. It turned out to be Mother Ocean and also the Sitka spruce elders. And it was during one of my, I was having a little rant with the universe because I had witnessed a disrespect, what I perceived to be a disrespect of Mother Earth and the tree elders. And I was ranting a little bit to the universe. They were kind of used to me doing this. And instead of asking always that question, why don't they feel what they're doing to Mother Earth? I finally asked, why do I feel so much if all I'm going to do is judge humanity, which I was secretly doing. I wasn't really speaking about it, but I was secretly judging. And then I was feeling a little sassy. And I said, and by the way, like, who the heck am I? And so then I heard in this loud voice, as if, that's Eliza calling me. That's a message back. Okay. Then I heard as loud as if there was someone in the room with me, you are an interbeing ambassador. And all of a sudden my life flashed before my eyes, and that I occupy this in-between space, in between the nature world and in between the human world. So all of a sudden my life path made sense to me. And so I began to understand, I began to develop my particular gifts in a very focused way. And so that began this journey of 4 years of direct listening and apprenticeship with trees, and then 7 years with water. And then I started to move into rock as well. But where the nature elder piece comes in is that over those years, a different nature elder would call me every year, and I would go to be with them. And in the course of being with them, I would discover why it is they had called me. And invariably in those first years, it was for my own personal healing. I needed to heal this separation from humanity. And then gradually what started to happen is they started to teach me about nature communication, teach me about the ethics and the etiquette of interrelating. And of course, all the nature elders, just like us, are individual and unique. We all have our own relationship with nature. And likewise, they do have their unique relationship with us as well. So without their mentorship of helping me become, honestly, more human, fully human, and to become a loving human being, I know that I wouldn't be who I am today. And I wouldn't have discovered what my life mission is here on the planet, which was to help to bring the voices and the wisdom of the nature elders to the table. And that could be the kitchen table in the family home. It could be the boardroom table with organizations. It could be the council chambers at City Hall, right? Or it could be a global forum like we did last year in 2022, where we did public consultations. So essentially the listening field itself, it's a ceremonial space, and we invoke it together. It's co-creative. That's what's really unique about it, is that we create it together by calling in a nature elder that we're particularly heart bonded with. And then, so what do we do once we are in these interbeing meetings? Well, we've discovered that consultation is awesome. So we might have a group question, as in the case of what we're going to do when we go to Nova Scotia, which is essentially in the broad strokes is asking the nature elders, what do they have to say to us at this time? And if we choose, and this is something that we'll source together as we gather, is there something in particular that's happening in Nova Scotia or in the world at this time that we would like to have the nature elders' perspective on? Because that is one of the most beautiful things about inviting the nature elders to speak, who always invariably say, thank you very much for inviting us. We've been standing here waiting for you to ask us. We invariably find that they have a perspective to share with us that is very different from the human perspective. And that has a lot to do with the fact that their arc of time and happenings is much longer and broader than our human perspective. And so they're often able to give us messages that help us that we get to unpack and to apply the strategy in it or the wisdom in it to something that is happening either in our personal life or with an organization or something in society as well. And so who are the nature elders? This is a term that I discovered or I heard inside of myself in 2020. Now, I had been, as I shared, being in person with nature elders up until COVID hit on 2020. In fact, my trip was fully booked to return to Cape Town, South Africa, to begin my apprenticeship with Table Mountain. COVID hit, I could no longer move. I went into deep silence for several months, didn't sing, rarely spoke, just went into this deep place. And when I came out, I'd been given some really clear instructions. One was, don't share my sound and nature work, different than I had in the same way that I had before COVID. And two, that it was time for me to partner with humans now in the same way that I had been partnering with nature elders in order to discover what my next work was going to be. And sure enough, what I discovered is that based on the heart bond that I'd built with these nature elders, I could open a ceremonial space with them, invite them to come, and they would come. We could feel their energy in the field, and then through the heart link, or what I call the heart bond, we could dialogue directly. And of course, then I soon discovered we can all do this as long as we love. That love for a particular tree or a particular lake or mountain creates a link that is beyond time and space. And through that channel, that heart link, we can converse, we can give and receive sensations, we can give and receive images, memories, and of course there's just that direct transmission where one moment we know something and the next minute, one moment we didn't know something and the next moment we do, right? So this is possible for everyone. And so over the past 3 years, I have been bringing the listening field out into the world. And over this period of time, more than 1,000 humans and nature elders together, we have helped to create this field that's visceral and that the nature elders actually recognize. I had someone, I call us listeners, I had someone emailed me the other day. She lives in Utah and she's been on retreat, and she said, oh, I just wanted to check in with you and let you know why I haven't been around. And she said, I went to sit with my box elder tree the other day and he mentioned you and the listening field. And I said, really? What? Like, what was the sense? And she said, well, I had this sense that he was kind of wondering what was happening. And I was like, very clever, because I haven't been hosting monthly listening fields. We've been in a process of listening to how to brand the listening field, how to turn it into an organization that can now exchange with business and government and organizations, right? So anyways, it was just very interesting. The other thing we've discovered is that nature elders sometimes are being brought in from, of course, different parts of the world online. And we're discovering that the feedback that comes from the nature elder to the human, to the circle, is that they are actually able to network with each other in ways that they couldn't do, that they don't do normally, but through the listening field, they can. And so there's, lots and lots of stories to share about nature elders who have found a voice, a platform in which they can speak, and we're here to listen. So the other thing I want to share about the listening field is that over the course of this time, we have discovered that there are several steps that are usually involved in a listening field. So one, there's a call. There's a call that is from somewhere. And this is in line with the part of the listening field, is that it's responsive. It's responsive. We respond to something, right? It doesn't kind of jump up by itself. It coalesces, it assembles because there's a need or a call. So in this case, the call came from Tree Child. Come to Turtle Song, come to my land, right? So that's where the call originated. So then there's the preparation for the call. So we did a listening field with Turtle Song, but also with the other nature elders in the locations that we're going to, in order to ensure that they are in agreement with us coming there and with this. And in fact, we did receive agreement from all of them, but the La Have River, interestingly enough, didn't respond to me. And I was like, okay. There's nothing there. There's nothing there, right? Right there. Maybe it's the location, maybe it's the river. I choose to know, right? And so we are looking at another location. And again, that location may be revisited once I arrive and we actually come in person with each other. So everything is done by agreement. This is the important thing to know. I never assume the nature elders want to participate, and I check every time. And it's the same for everyone in the listening field, right? I consider you sovereign, intelligent beings, and giving people choice and the opportunity to speak your agreement, to speak your truth, to come forward with your gifts. This is all part of the nature of the listening field. It's kind of bringing our co-creative genius and interest, etc., together. And in that center is where these new things are being born. New approaches to traditional problems, right? New lenses in which to discover how we can co-create together. Because this is a discovery process. We haven't been here before. Mother Earth and the nature elders, they're evolving too. So they haven't been here before, right? So the listening field is this place where we're always in this place of deep listening. The only thing that stays consistent are the principles of engagement, respect, compassion, right? Deep listening, reciprocity, accountability. So the other piece that's become more and more important is that, one, we solicit the information, we ask for their wisdom. Two, we receive it. So then what do we do once we receive it? So many times the nature elders will give us answers or responses that are somewhat similar to the way Indigenous elders teach, human elders. Well, they're teaching story, right? So you need to unpack what they have to say and discover what it is for yourself. So I'll just share with you a couple of these messages. And so what I discovered last year as we began to do more and more listening fields and global consultations is that these messages were so profound. I felt this desire to find a form that I could circulate them publicly, because I believe that this wisdom comes through for all of our benefit, right? And so I came up with this format. It's a visual meme. In this case, we called in Earth. Everybody called in Earth, plus they called in another nature elder as well. And then the consultation was, how do we restore right relationship with you? And this was the answer from one out of 15 or 20 individuals. We are all unique life expressions living as one. Allow our electromagnetic frequencies to align, give and receive life as one. So what I find with these is that invariably there's one phrase, a word, a sentence. There's something where I go, what would my life look like if I gave and received life as one? I don't know. I don't have the answer to that, but my curiosity is aroused. What would that look like? In the listening field, again, these are online listening fields. In the listening field, this was an example where we did a consultation with biodiversity. How do we restore a right relationship with you? And octopus showed up for this woman, and showed up means came fully into her conscious awareness, so much she couldn't ignore octopus, right? And then this is the message that octopus gave. Invite clear vision inside and out. Know your part in planetary biodiversity and play it fully. Even our death honors the needs of evolution and reveals what is hidden. Trust. So there's a lot there to unpack, right? You can, and I'm going to share just one more here. I'm the one that's choosing these images, so sometimes I like to highlight the contrast. This was where we were consulting with Fresh Clean Air, and we were asking, how can all humans and nature, how can we ensure that all humans and animals have access to fresh, clean air? And this is what someone heard. What you do to me, you do to yourself. What you do to each other, you do to me. This beautiful, almost a bit like a Zen koan, right? To like, what? Last example I'm going to share is, this is an example, people can have epiphanies in the listening field. And in this one, we were part of a project last year called 99 Days of Peace Through Unity. She just had this question: how do I get to this place of peace through unity in just 99 days? And she had, from 1 second to the moment, she became a cloud. Yesterday, I looked at my flowers and I took in their beauty. Today, I am the flower. I am unity. So, in summary, the nature elders are anyone that you consider wiser than you. Now, a nature elder could be a tree who is a young tree, but is an elder amongst a grove of trees. So it's a very subjective term. And I just was guided to use this term because I had begun to speak to other people about my experiences, and I needed a term that felt respectful and loving for all that these nature elders had given to me and given to us. And so this is what rose up inside of me, was nature elder. And I'm happy to say that it's been adopted by many, many, many people, because it really does embody that respect that we have for them. And then why is it important to consult? Well, we're at this time on earth where we're creating a new society. We know that the way we have been living is not working. It's not working for us. It's not working for our nature relatives and elders. And so it's my belief that we need their wisdom in order to make sure that we don't create the same issues and problems that we did before. So we need that lens that comes in directly from nature's wisdom. I want to share one more thing. The youth is another reason why we need to bring and consult with the nature elders. As we know, there's tremendously high suicide rates and depression and anxiety and all kinds of things that are going on. And I've had the privilege just recently to offer a 5-week pilot program to a group of youth online. And we just completed it this week. And I actually want to share with you a little 2-minute video that a young man in Nepal shared about his nature elder, who turned out to be the rain. It's the rain. So I'm going to play this for you. As I said, it's just 2 minutes.
The who? Turned out to be the
rain, RAIN,
Oh.
the rain. Yeah. I mean, I've never had, in all the years, I've never had someone whose nature elder was the rain. And in fact, 2 of the other youth, one, it was air, and the other, it was wind. It's lovely. It's lovely. All right, so here we go.
As I stand under the sky, work amid the trees, I feel the beauty this world beholds. The journey has made me embrace the love of Mother Nature, feel every gift, renew my spirit, and embrace the present moment fully. I have learned to cherish every day and to find beauty in the simplest of things. Rain, my nature elder, has been my steadfast companion on this journey of self-discovery, and I'm grateful for its healing touch. With every rustling leaf and melodious pitter-patter, I feel my harsh thoughts diluted and worries fade away and replaced by profound sense of peace within. My great nature elder, a friend that never fails to lift my spirit and free my soul from anxiety's grasp. I have become a better person. This journey has guided me back to what truly matters and connected me with my nature elders. I am thankful for yellow versus blue. I'm thankful for the listening field. And as I continue on my journey, I will always treasure the moments I spent here. Thank you, my nature elder.
Sweet, huh? So this was Yellow versus Blue is a peer-led youth organization registered as a charity in the UK. So we partnered with them, and their focus is mental health and wellness, peer-led mental health and wellness. So these were all youth who were partnering with nature elders for their mental health and wellness. And one of the most profound weeks was the one where I gave them the home play of consulting, problem solving with their nature elder. So choose something. It could be, just an irritation, could be a chronic issue, and share that with your nature elder and ask for their advice. In one instance, a woman who's very, very shy, but was considering applying for to be part of a project at work. And she heard from her nature elder, ask questions. So she went into work the next day and she went to the project head and she asked all these questions. She says, I don't normally ask questions. She's really shy and quiet. She kind of just keeps her head down. And she said, he answered all the questions. And I asked more questions and he answered the questions. And I asked even more questions and he answered the questions. And she said, by the time she'd asked and received all of the answers, she was clear. She wasn't going to apply to be part of this project. So that's all I want to share about who the nature elders are, some of the reasons why it's important to consult with them. And of course, I know, you've had tremendous flooding and fires in Nova Scotia. And so although we have 5 locations already scheduled and the date scheduled, we have time in between those. And I've been starting to hear a growing call that we may organize some more spontaneous listening fields to go into those areas where the flooding is and where the fires are, and ask them, what do they have to say about what is going on. We did already a consultation about the Canadian wildfires a month ago, and it was amazing the messages we got back. And not a single one of them was afraid about what was happening. None of them. They were like, this is natural, right? Now, there was lots of messages around attachment and letting go and change and transformation. So yes, there was lots still to unpack. But this may be part of why we're coming to Nova Scotia, with the listening field, so that we can bring whatever it is they're wishing to say to us out to community. And so the events themselves, they happen from there's a in-person intro on August the 10th. We start on the 12th and we go to the 20th. So it's kind of a Saturday to Sunday. And on the 31st of August, so it's a week after I get back, there's an online sharing session. So this is where I want to take the messages and the learnings that we discover from our time with the nature elders and bring them to the broader public, right? To again, provide a platform where their wisdom can be heard, and we can explore how is it that we can bring their wisdom into our lives or into our work or into our communities. So we create the space, we ask the questions, we listen, we give back with song and art and drumming and love and sound, right? And we take these messages we receive, we distill them into digestible pieces, we share them out, we apply them. So that's the whole wheel, that's the whole medicine wheel or the journey that the listening field is right now, because it constantly keeps evolving and changing and growing as we do. So thank you very much for listening. I'd like to open up the microphone, just any response or comment to anything that you've heard, or sharing of anything that you feel or that's rising for you after you've heard all of this.
It's opening more and more of what this is. It's hard to describe, and I'm good with words. But yes, it's hard for me to describe right now, but just something is opening and softening. And adding more the concept that the elders are people who can teach us. And then at the last minute, you said how you give back. The drumming, the singing, the whatever. I thought this is right up Tree Child's aisle. But all of a sudden it went, and give back. So, and this is the second one of these that I came to, and it was all different, and I learned more new things about you, and just continuing to have this softening and opening. Because I've had a barrier for a very long time to these natural things, like hearing what the trees might be saying to me. I mean, my trees are so beloved, but there isn't a lot of communication that I recognize consciously. Not saying there isn't communication, but that I recognize consciously. And I've done some initiations with dolphins, and that is helping to melt the barriers. They've been very strong. My ability to communicate with animals or communicate with trees are better. They're a little bit easier for me than animals. But maybe this is all a part of softening into the opening. I don't like to do things suddenly or abruptly or hard, but that's why I use the word melting or dissolving or things like that. I've never been one to cut things. And so this is part of that process. I look to the side because there's these two trees that are visible in my window, and I love them so much. There are actually 4 trees there, but 2 are easily visible in the windows that I keep here, or that where I keep the computer. So, obviously my situation, well, it's not obvious to you, but it is to Tree Child that I cannot come to be there in person. But I thank you for being here. But I could come anyway.
Beautiful. Thank you for your love. So you're going to be on this journey with us anyways. You know, you're in the field now, and we'll be posting on Facebook. We'll be sharing through an email list. So, you know, make sure on that. And so thank you. Thank you. And you really touched on something that's really important. Nature communication is natural. We're wired for it. It's just a muscle that's atrophied. That's atrophied. That's all. So it's coming back. And I love your use of your word melting, because that is really what happens. There's this surrender to really what already is. And what melts away is our thoughts. And what increases too is our ability to focus, because that's the other thing that we cultivate. It's why chanting and toning and long tones and humming are such a big part of my practice, and what I'll share as well when I come, because it helps us with the ability to focus. And that's what we need to really hear, because sometimes their messages are really subtle. So
yeah, and I think my distractibility has been part of my defense of my fear, you know, that I brought to this time to heal.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Sandra.
Oh, I just wanted to thank you for coming to Nova Scotia, because I've been thinking something is going on with us here since we've had those fires and the flooding and all the destruction that's happened. It just, Nova Scotia was just such a unique, soft, wonderful little place. And all of a sudden, all these things are going on. And I know it's something in the energy, and I don't know exactly what it is. So I'm glad you're going to be trying to find out. I just wanted to thank you.
Yes, well, I hope you'll join us, because we're gonna find out, right? This is the cool thing about this. We're gonna have 10 or 12 different listenings, hearings, right? It's this, you know, what's different from science, where they're after that one right answer that they can repeat and repeat and repeat. That's not what this is. This is like, we're listening for what is the action that's moving through that's going to serve all of us. And it's not the same thing all the time. So yeah, so I hope you'll join us, because if you're hearing that call, then it means you're already hooking up and preparing to receive. So I hope you do join us. Thanks. Teresa.
Hi, Danielea. Hi.
Danielea.
Aha. I wanted to introduce my friend Linda, who we spoke about. Linda's from Parksville. So,
hi, Linda.
yeah. Maybe you'll be connecting when you get home. She's leaving to go back home the day before you arrive. And I'm looking forward to hosting the guest evening on the 10th and being part of the listening field on the 12th. Sounds very powerful.
Yes, well, and I'm really excited to meet the hemlock tree elders. And then, oh my goodness, I'm really, rock is one of my primary teachers right now. So there's huge glacial boulders in Fleming Park. So I'm just really excited about a chance to really deepen in and connect with them and listen to what they have to say with us as well. And thank you for hosting us and me when I arrive. So that's August the 10th at Teresa's home. And if you're interested in attending, just RSVP to Tree Child and she'll provide the address for you. Welcome, Patricia.
Thank you. Sorry I'm late. I had another link, so I was waiting. But anyway, there's a quick question. I know that the 10th, the 12th, and the 20th are, I have engagements. So is it possible to come to a portion of the program?
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely. Yes. So you can come to one, you can come to several, you can come to all. We kind of created that all access pass if you'd like to. And just know that, we're really creating a listening team so that, even if you just come to one on the 12th, you're in the team, and the team will have different people at different times. And I really encourage you to stay in touch. We've talked with Tree Child already that we will post in the Facebook event, probably itself for the journey. We'll post there, but not everybody's on Facebook. And so we'll do some updates through email. And that's because we are working in a field strategy. And that's both something we can feel, but it's also in the, in the unseen world as well. So yes, you're absolutely welcome. And please share. So, I really am feeling a call to support youth. So if you have any youth in your life that are available, are interested in nature, those youth, the 9 youth that were part of the Nature and Me program, they were selected because they do love nature already, but none of them had been doing anything remotely like communicating with nature. That was completely brand new for them. So yeah, please share. And, the pricing we've put on it is something to keep this sustainable and to cover our costs for me coming, etc. And we have partial scholarships and we have youth pricing available. So don't let that be anything. Just contact Tree Child and we'll work it out. And then, as I said, if you're on the email list, if we do a spontaneous listening, like we're going to go and, connect into a burned area, right? I've done listening with clear cuts, but I haven't actually listened into a burned area specifically. So I have no idea what would happen. But I'd love to hear what do the landscape elders have to say after fire? I don't know, but let's find out. But again, everything's by call. So if you hear a call come up through you, like for some reason, when I say a call, it just means that elder is like constantly in your awareness. You might be cooking and then you turn around and, oh, there's that tree again. Or, like when that happens, that's a call. Somebody's going knock, 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 knock. And then you're like, okay, all right. And then you go and find out, hi, I'm here. What can I do for you? Or what can you do for me? Or what's going on? So that's how this whole thing works is that's what that co-creative part is about. Roxy.
It is very wonderful that you brought up the subject of children, is I was with Elder Ellen Hunt this afternoon. You know, I'm over there quite often, actually. And one thing that came up after I finished my Reiki treatment to her, I brought up the children, because I have felt since, maybe I shouldn't say this, 1967, that the earth was being destroyed. I never had any children because I didn't want to be responsible for my great grandchildren's demise. But that's what Ellen and I were talking about today. So yes, that has been in my heart for years. That's it for now.
Yeah, I must confess that, you know, I think that what we've done to Mother Earth and to our nature relatives and elders is far more painful to us than it is to them. I mean, their spiritual contract, they agreed to serve humanity. This is my understanding. What we do is we make it extremely difficult. We burden them, and we also, in some cases, absolutely prevent them from fulfilling the purpose for why they've come, right? So it's not that there aren't horrific circumstances, or results or consequences, but I think that the pain is, the emotional pain it's for us to feel. You know, they have a different lens and perspective. And that's, again, it's part of the gift. So here's the thing, you know, people, they get caught in the guilt they have about what they've done. And guilt is useless, to be honest, to be frank. It's useless, because what it does is it stops us from actually, A, forgiving ourselves, then B, once we forgive ourselves, love returns inside of us, and then we're inspired, we trust ourselves, and then we start to come back online and start to engage and start to contribute. And that's really what the nature elders, you know, this is the beauty of having a personal relationship with them. And some of you know, I do private mentoring and I do private listening fields. And so some of what people come for in these mentoring sessions is to come to that place where they can forgive themselves and forgive humanity for what they've done, so that they can start to come back and align with love, and then align with life, and then start to actually contribute to the new world that we're creating together. So, you know, that's the other thing. They never judge us. They don't judge us. That's what's so beautiful about the nature elders. They see us fully for who we are, warts and all, and they still love us, and we can feel it. You know, we don't have to take their word for it. You just feel it. When you're in that heart link, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and feeling is really important. You know, a person a friend of mine wrote to me and she said, oh my gosh, I'm just feeling such grief around Mother Ocean and what we've done. She lives on the coast south of me in the US. And she said, what can I do? And I said, get in the shower and cry. Grieve. Let that water flow. Let it flow. Like that's an honoring. It's an honoring of water. It's an honoring of Mother Ocean. It's a giving back your salt water to salt water. But feel it. Feel it so it moves through. And then it's, well, what replaces that? What rises up because the grief or the guilt or the pain has moved, the energy has moved on, right? So now what takes its place? And so this is why, I repeat myself, but why I feel it's so important that we're consulting with the nature elders, because they help us see things in a new way, in a broader perspective that's beyond human. And that is, you know, more about life. Anyone else have any questions or comments before we?
One other tiny thing.
Sure.
Is this going to be in a recording that we can listen to again? For example, Patricia came in late, you know?
Yes, yeah, it is being recorded. And so we'll share this out to the people.
I do see it's being recorded. Yeah, but
yeah.
Tree Childs, you'll give us a hand with that too.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay.
I will. Thank you, Teresa. Thanks for coming. Yes, so anything else from anyone? Let me just see. Yeah, while you think about that, I'm just gonna just show you a slide that has the journey itself all at once. Yeah, here we go. Oops. What? I love Zoom. Come on, Zoom. Oh, I see what's happening here. All right. Well, I will just I'll send out a snapshot of each of these things when we send out the recording. So you will absolutely get it. It's going to take, I have some settings on my computer at the moment. That's why this is happening. No problem.
Do you want me to put the schedule in the chat?
You can if you like, but we can just send it out with the recording. It's fine, because otherwise you have to save the chat on their computer. We'll just send it out. No problem. Yeah. So any last words? I know
Just a quick question, Danielea.
Yeah.
The Thursday, August the 10th, that's going to be taking place in Halifax. So will that be on Zoom as well or not?
No, it's in person. No, I will be there. We're at Teresa. Do you know Teresa Thomas?
I know Teresa. Yeah, I've met her. Yeah.
It'll be at her home. It'll be at her home. I think she has a beautiful back garden. So no, we'll be in person there. And I'll have been on land. So I'll have, probably as the most up-to-date information I'll know about what the call is and what we're looking at for the
yeah, that's one of the dates that I have a commitment, but I can make 3 of them. So that's fine.
Beautiful. Yeah. So just register with Tree Child and we'll keep you up to date. Like, as I said, we're going to use the email list because I know a lot of you aren't on Facebook. So we'll use that email list to keep the listening team informed about what we're doing and where, just so that you can hold us in your awareness and your heart.
Certainly. Thank you.
All right.
We would just like to say thank you, gratitude for your time and your energy, your enthusiasm, your beautiful spirit. And we look forward to being with you. Very grateful.
Thank you. Thank you. And we're going to talk for a minute afterwards, right, Gina? Yes. Okay, perfect. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. And again, the other piece I just wanted to say is, so logistics, like what to bring and all of that. Once you register, we're going to send that information out. We will be sitting in the forest, and I'm going to invite you to bring instruments, and you're going to bring snacks, and like we're doing this as a listening pod. So even how we engage with the landscapes is going to be very, very listenery. We listen every step of the way.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. See you soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Blessings. Bye for now.
Thank you.